Nah, switch up.
The highest cloud, I've been up for so long, don't wanna calm down. I just wanna stay up, man, I'm gonna stay up. I just want.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Ichi Chucks here, part of the Ichi Band squad. Please ignore my voice, I'm a bit ill, but that's how that goes. Welcome to the latest episode of the top 5 moves series, where we're discussing the 5 moves that you need for your Tekken character in Tekken 8 today. Last episode was based around my main Raven, and today we're going to be talking about my secondary character, Lars Alexandersson. If you are a Lars main, get your notepads out. We're going to be talking about the 5 moves that you can really use in your neutral game to help give you a competitive advantage, whether that's in ranked or player matches or just playing with your friends. This one's going to be a banger. If you're looking for this type of content, if you enjoy this type of content, please do subscribe to the Ichi Band channel. It really helps out, and I'll be posting more and more guides on certain things, certain characters and certain playstyles too. So thank you very much, and let's go ahead, let's get started with the video.
Alright, what's going on, people? Welcome to the latest episode of the top 5 moves series, where we discuss 5 moves that you can use for your Tekken character to give you a competitive advantage. The last episode was obviously on Raven, and today we're going to be focusing on Lars Alexandersson. Just a quick note, if you want to see a more in-depth guide into how to play Lars in its entirety, then I suggest checking out the homie Shaiko Plays video. I will link it in the description below for you guys to check out, and it's really, like, you know, in depth. He talks about all of his moves and how to use them, but for this video specifically, we're just going to be talking about 5 easy moves that I think you can really implement in your game plan and see good results from it, and, you know, specific details that you can really take advantage of when it comes to Lars. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first move I'd like to talk about here is Ring Current, and you see that at the top the connotation for this move is 2-1 or triangle square on PlayStation. So this move is Lars's mid-high string. He's typically had a mid-high string, and this one is quite new because it has a new animation. As you can see, he shifts into limited entry, which is a new stance for Lars in Tekken 8. And you can see when he, you know, crouches like that at the bottom, that's when he enters the stance. So there's a few reasons why I want to talk about this move, because it's really good in terms of its numbers, but it also has a lot of mixed potential and ways to kind of get the advantage. So on block it's -6, on hit it's -8 I think, but on block it's -6, which is the most important part, because it is safe. You can't really, you know, punish this move, but you can just throw it out there. The other good part about this move is that its startup is 10 frames. That's the fastest move in the game, technically speaking. You know, aside from Flash, the fastest natural move in the game is a jab, and this one comes right at the bat at 10 frames, which is really good for punishing moves that, you know, some of the safer moves that a lot of characters like to use as well. So a really good punishment tool. It's not a high string, it's a high mid string, so even if they duck the first part, they have a chance to get clipped by the second part. That's really good. But the big news about this move is the options that you have from limited entry and their crushing properties. Lars typically is known for having a lot of moves where he jumps around and ends up crushing a lot of highs, and I want to just demonstrate that here for you guys right now. So if I set this to punish, you'll see that Raven is trying to punish me with a jab. Obviously the move in itself is not punishable, so you can just kind of use it as a check-in tool. But if you want to, you know, if you have the read on an opponent, and they're going for like a high or maybe like a 4-1 or wherever it may be, you can use some options from limited entry to just absolutely crush those moves. So what do those moves look like? Well, if you go for limited entry 1, which is that low there, that crushes highs entirely, and you can see it really does crush highs because it is a punish. You can see at the corner there, when he tries to punish me, I punish him, and the punish bar lights up. Another move that can crush highs is his 2 from limited entry, so his triangle from limited entry. That allows him to also crush highs too. And these are the main 2 that I think are really good for, you know, crushing opponents that like to use a lot of highs, like to use a lot of panic moves and stuff like that, and that can really get you an advantage. The other good news about this is that these options really get kind of crazy when you go into heat mode as well. So generally speaking, if you go into heat mode and you use this move on crush, there you go, you have a 35 punisher right there, which is really good for damage, and you've just crushed an entirely safe high. You've already, the string is safe in itself, but you can also get advantage there. Also, if you go into heat mode, the limited entry 2 also becomes a free launcher. And what does that mean? You get a free combo if you know how to do your combos. So these options are really good for generally kind of punishing someone in terms of if they've used an unsafe move, checking someone if they duck a little bit, and then also going for those crushes as well. If you really haven't read on an opponent and you know that they're going to go for a high move that tries to check you, just use these a couple moves and you can definitely get the advantage there. And remember, again, this move gets even better when you go into heat mode, because your options allow you to go for more follow-ups or more damage in general. Alright, the second move I'd like to talk about from Lars here is a move called Bow Shock. This is a new move from Lars's dynamic entry stance, and you can see from the top, the connotations for this move is during dynamic entry 3. So you have to go into the dynamic entry stance first, which you just press forward and X, and then you press X or 3 afterwards to unlock the move Bow Shock. Now, there's a few reasons why I want to talk about this move, and I'll get into it specifically. The first thing I like to talk about is its distance. Sheer distance is massive. As you can see, even from 4, the move can potentially hit as well. So you obviously, dynamic entry, takes a little bit of space in there, and then once you do the move Bow Shock, Lars does a massive leap forward, big kick in there, and it does a little bit of chip and block. So it's really good for initiating, really good for beating a neutral, and really good to kind of catch opponents off guard, especially since it's a tracking move as well. So this move does track. If opponents are stepping, they will get caught when you use this move, and if they get caught, that's really bad for them, because this move is a heat engager as well. So as you can see, if it does hit, it's a heat engager immediately. You go into heat, and then you're able to access all your new heat mechanics from Lars, which are really good generally speaking anyways. In and of itself, I can finish talking about the move there, because it's really good, and that can be really applied to any sort of Lars type of playstyle and gameplay. But another reason why I want to talk about this move is because of the options that you have on block as well, specifically within silent entry. So as you can see, this move on block is +5, and it immediately shifts into silent entry, and the moves from silent entry have been buffed too. Basically, if those that have been following Bamco know recently that they put out a patch, and Eddie's here, which is great, but they also buffed a few characters too. Lars ended up getting a considerable buff with this move, Bow Shock, because it's now +5. I think beforehand it used to be +4, but now it's +5. Now what does that mean? That means there are certain moves in the silent entry stance when you go into it that are unsteppable, that used to be unsteppable as well, and that was really core to the mind games that Lars has as a Lars character, in high level. So generally speaking, silent entry 1 is the move that you cannot step, and it's -6, it's safe, so it pushes back and you can't punish it as well. So it's a really good move. Beforehand, the way to beat this move was to sidestep left, and you cannot do that anymore. So as you can see, they get caught immediately. Beforehand, when Bow Shock was +4, they couldn't sidestep left if you use silent entry, but now you can't, and it's the same for sidestep right, or even side walk left. I think if I check that again, yeah, you cannot even sidewalk it as well. The reason why that's pretty big is because there was a mind game there with all the silent entry options. If someone was going to step, then you traditionally do the 3+4 option. If they weren't going to step, then you could go for the low, or you go for the safe mid. You go for the safe mid. But now you can really use that mid egregiously. You can use it whenever you want, more or less, and generally speaking, you'll be safe, and it's a bit brain dead, but it's also really powerful too. So Lars did end up getting a buff there, and that move has come from Bow Shock. So I suggest really implementing this tool in your gameplay, and it will really help you out in closing the neutral, catching those people that are stepping, putting you straight in heat, and then also giving you the advantage, especially going into silent entry too. As you see, like I said, they can't step, and you have all the other options from silent entry as well. Okay, the next move I like to talk about here is a move called Elbow Corona. Elbow Corona, and you see the connotations for this move are forward 1 +2, and this is what the move looks like. It's an elbow from Lars, really good elbow. He steps forward and it covers quite a bit of distance, and this is your go-to counter hit launcher, I'd say, for Lars players, generally speaking. You know, it covers a bit of distance there, does a little bit of a step to the side too, so it has a little bit of evasive properties, and it knocks down on hit, on regular hit. On block, I think this is -8 or -9. Oh, so yeah, there you go, it's -9, so it's safe too. So it is a safe counter hit launcher. And then on counter hit, obviously you allow, you know, if you hit this, you can go for massive amounts of damage as well. Beforehand in Tekken 7, you know, that the tailspin was the original combo system. They've changed it a little bit now into, I don't know what you call it now, there's a word for it, but I have no clue what it is. But now, because of the new system, this allows for Lars to go for some crazy combo damage and for some crazy wall carry here. So what I'm going to do is quickly demonstrate a combo and how much damage you can get off this one counter hit launcher. There you go, that's 81 damage. That's not even optimal because I still have, you know, the whole heat mechanic system available to me there as well. But if you do land this move on counter hit, it's massive, it's safe, and it's a really good counter hit tool that you can use to kind of get a massive amount of combo damage, but also wall carry if you're playing on a waller stage as well. So really good tool to use for Lars players. I suggest implementing this tool. I mean, I've done it multiple times in my games. Really good tool that allows me to get a lot of damage and can really steal around if you're really good with your combos as well. You know, I've stolen rounds with this before, and you know, it's really good in that regard. So I recommend adding this to your game plan and definitely using it and trying to fish for those counter hits. Okay, the fourth move I'd like to talk about here is a move called Double Pulse, and this is Lars's quote-unquote hell sweep. The connotations for this move are forward, 4-3. As you can see from there, it's a low move. You call it Lars's hell sweep because it functions similarly to how other hell sweeps work. It just doesn't knock down, but it's a really good low. Natural combo, 32 damage there, really good for, you know, getting a little bit of damage in. Just be careful because this move, like most hell sweeps, is death on block. So if you do use it and the opponent blocks it, they have a free launcher. So please do use this sparingly, as Lars doesn't have the most amazing lows in his toolkit, but this low is pretty good for, you know, catching people off guard and, you know, going for that damage too. The other reason why I like to speak about this move is because this move got a new follow-up in Tekken 8. And that follow-up is actually from the forward 4 motion. Instead of pressing 3, you can press 2 to go into this new move called cross transistor. I don't know how you pronounce it. Cross transistor or whatever. But if you press forward 4-2, you can see it's a natural combo, less damage, but you're +9 on hit, and it allows you to go for a mix-up in dynamic entry. So once you hit this move, you can go into dynamic entry. You can use you know, an abundance of options from dynamic entry. Some of those will look like dynamic entry 4 or dynamic entry 3+4 if you want to go for another low, you know, like that. Or you could go for the infamous dynamic entry 3, which is the move that we just talked about earlier. So you really have a slew of options to kind of continue your mix up and to apply those plus frames and to apply that pressure as well, and that really stems from the hell sweep. So you have your options for going for the damage, which is the regular double pulse, or if you want to go for the, you know, the mix, or if you want to go for the plus frames there, you go for the cross transistor. It's up to you, and it's up to how you want to play that gameplay, but I thought it would be good to mention it as a good low that allows you to give, you know, more options and viability in the neutral, as well as enforcing your mix up and enforcing your plus frames too. Alright, and the final move I'd like to talk about here is Shadow Cutter. And the connotations for this move, you can see at the top, it's down, back, 4. This is Lars's kind of you know, main sweep from a low, and it is a counter hit launcher too. So a couple of things about this move and why I wanted to mention it is that it's got a pretty decent range. As you can see, it hits from 2 there, and it's +5 on hits, which is good as well because that gives you a little bit of frame advantage, and we can talk about some frame traps in a second. Just do be wary though, as like with most lows from Lars, if you do get it blocked, it is launch punishable, so you know, -26 there. So you really want to be careful about using this and kind of use it sparingly if you're fishing for that counter hit launcher, or if you're just fishing to try and get some advantage on the low. On counter hit, like I said, it is an absolute launcher, so you can go into a full combo if you land it on counter hit, and that's great because it also crushes highs. So you can see there, he kind of, crouches and, he will go right under like some really prominent highs and sometimes maybe even some mids. So really good crushing tool again from Lars there that you want to use. On hit, it's +5, and that's really good because that also allows you to set up some specific frame traps if someone tries to press when they get hit by this move. So what I'll demonstrate here is that I'll just get Raven to mimic the move I do afterwards. So you go into full crouch when you use Shadow Cutter, and you have a few options afterwards since you're in full crouch as well. So one of the biggest options there is Lars' down forward 2 from full crouch. That's his counter hit mid launcher. It's safe and it's a really nice move just to check people after the down forward 2 to see if they're not pressing buttons, because if they do, there you go, there's a big launcher there, you can go for some good damage. So there's quite a few applications for it as well. You have the down forward 1+2, but if they dick jab, you do get caught by it. But generally speaking, full crouch down forward 2 will generally be able to hit on a situation whereby someone's pressing after they get hit by the Shadow Cutter as well. So again, really just use this move sparingly. It's good, it is a counter hit launcher, but just be wary that it does get blocked, and if it does get blocked, you can get launched. Use it accordingly, and remember the follow-ups afterwards since you're in crouch, like the down forward 1+2 and the down forward 2 as well. Yep.
And there you go, that was the top 5 moves with Lars Alexandersson. Please do leave a like and comment if you thought the video was beneficial to you in any way, if you learned a couple of things with Lars, if you got some new tech that you've been looking for. It really helps with optimizing my guides and making them a little bit more accessible for everyone so they can understand what's going on. If you enjoy the content as well, do consider subscribing to the Ichiban channel. We've got a few other things going on as well. I've got my rank series to TEKKEN Emperor with Raven. If you want to join me on that journey, please do. It's going to be a fun journey. And then I've got some other TEKKEN videos as well, which I've been working on, stuff like other guides and other tutorials and stuff. So if you're enjoying the content, please do consider subscribing. But yeah, other than that, thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next guide. Take care, people.
The highest cloud, I've been up for so long, don't wanna calm down. I just wanna stay up, man, I'm gonna stay up. I just want